this is gonna be bad. Oh, this is gonna be so bad. All right, I have to load this up for you guys, because this is the man who wants you to starve. This is the mad version. He's literally soy facing right now. He's doing like the soy Wojak like pointing meme. Mr. Stark, this man is soy. If you do something a lot of political frogs don't do right now, which is go outside, you may look around and see a bunch of stores with hiring signs out. There's a really good reason for this. There's lots of people who are out of work. As the coronavirus pandemic restrictions started to lift, a lot of businesses wanted to get back into business. Lots of people have been sitting on money, not going out into restaurants, not shopping in brick and mortar stores, and sometimes not even shopping online. They've just kind of been sitting in their house, festering a little bit. So when a lot of the restrictions lifted, people wanted to get back out and start buying things, start doing things. They wanted to go to restaurants. They wanted to go to movie theaters. They wanted to go to stores. They wanted to do all of these things, amusement parks, crazy things that COVID did not allow us to do. And a lot of those people still are not vaccinated because they just want to be bad people. A lot of those people are not vaccinated because they're genuinely scared about what could happen. And, you know, we could talk about that with like workers and everything. We don't have to get into that right now, but there's a problem. There's a problem on the horizon. All right. Did you just say Rick and Mortar? Wait, stop the segment. Hells, give me one good reason why I should not ban you in chat. Give me one good, you have to give me one, all right? Or else you're done for that joke. Please. I'm thick. Okay. Oh, damn. Oh, they know how to pander to their streamer. I see you. People didn't want to get back to work. People were sick of it. People were tired. We talk about this a lot of the times where a lot of workers are really, really struggling. And not just the workers that are out of work, the workers that are in work as well. Lots of those workers are sick and they're tired about the status quo. They're sick and they're tired about their jobs. Even the ones that are in the careers that they want, they feel unfulfilled. Lots of people feel extremely unfulfilled. And honestly, they have a point. Why would you feel fulfilled in a workplace environment that we're in right now, where the status quo is leaving so many people alienated, where less and less people are finding meaningful relationships, less and less people are going out and enjoying themselves. We have less friends. We're talking to family less. All of these things are happening, and work has gotten more strenuous, even though strenuous, I mean mentally, even though there have been so many technologies and so many things that should make it less strenuous. Work shouldn't be as hard as it is right now. And honestly, people are doing more at work than they ever have in the history of humankind. People are more productive at work right now than they ever have been in the history of this entire planet. Yet people aren't making as much as they did compared to the 1960s and beyond, compared to the work that they do. So people aren't really getting the benefits of the work that they're actually doing. There is a proposed solution to that. Getting rid of those bosses. It's very curious. We can talk about that sometime. And they come home, their feet hurt, their back hurt. You know, they don't have any time and they don't have any money to go in Bath and Body Works because their back and body hurts, you know? So because of that, when a lot of people who sunk a lot of time and energy through this traditional look, and you put your all into your work, you put your all into your job. I know like my grandparents thought something like that, and a lot of my parents have a big idea like that. They take a lot of pride in like putting a lot of work into their actual job because it was a big status symbol to do really good work, to work very hard. It did a lot for the owner class and it did a little bit for the worker class, but now it's starting to do a whole lot more for the owner class and a whole lot less for the worker class these days. And people are just kind of tired of it. So when they were sitting at home, or like me, I quit my job. I recently just quit my job. And I'm not alone in this. 40% of workers are considering quitting their jobs. Millions of people are resigning from their places of work, and they're doing it for a bevy of reasons. I did it to continue on with YouTube and Twitch and to do something that I would feel that's way more fulfilling than being at the job that I am now. And even though not everybody who's quitting is going to be trying to follow in the footsteps of like a dream or something, a lot of those people are quitting for similar reasons because they're sick and tired of their job. And they're so upset with the situation that they're in when they put all this time and effort into going to your career and to doing a job and to get almost nothing out of it, right? You're sitting there and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're tired and you're upset all the time. You don't have time to really talk or hang out with your friends. You're just barely making ends meet sometimes. You don't get to go out and do the things that you want a lot of the times. And you've maybe spent like years You spend years. I mean, ever since that we were kids, what question did they ask us? What do you want to be when you grow up? And all of that is just like, what job do you want? What company do you want to work for? What do you want? How do you want to work? And that's how we find ourselves. That's how we like come to be people, is like, oh, what job are you going to do? Nothing like, what do you want to make? What impact do you have in the world in that way? It typically goes through, what kind of job do you want? And it's always idolized working for some big company sometimes, and it's unfortunate. So you see a lot of places hiring right now. I believe the jobs report recently showed that millions of people are resigning from their jobs just willingly. Once people had the option to leave the like death spiral, the literal drowning machine that is like working paycheck to paycheck and being a working class person in this country, they run for it. You open the door, they freaking run, and all the businesses are like, wait, where are you guys going? What's happening? I thought you guys loved it here. We're family. I bought you pizza. Come back. The pizza parties don't help anymore. I ate the pizza. I wasn't sticking around for the pizza. I was sticking around because I didn't want to be poor. If I could not suffer like that and not be poor, hell yeah, I'm getting the heck out of here. I'm absolutely getting out of here. There are lots of things that lead to that. If you have the option to leave, why wouldn't you? You break free from the wagey cagey like Uncle Iroh, man. Obviously, you're going to get the hell out of there. And it's really good because we love giving workers more options. And here's a little thing that Biden proposed. Bernie proposed as well, but on a much grander scale. The idea of being able to give people actual choice, right? Choice. You hear a lot of people, especially like capitalists and like libertarians and stuff, talk about how, oh, the freedom of choice and voluntary this and that. It's great. It's great. It's great in theory, but it never works out in practice. When it comes to giving people all of these choices, you know, it's really hard to pick good choices for yourself. It's really hard to say something's voluntary when it's like, do this or starve, do this or be homeless. You work here for $9.25 or you're homeless. There's no in between there. There's no in between with a lot of people. I don't think that's very voluntary. So when it comes to that, yeah, they're trapped on a coconut island and they're not the first person to wake up, basically. so when it comes to that, there's lots of people who find this death spiral really saddening. I do not disagree with them with what's going on there. So we talk a lot about there being like competition and option and choices when it comes to people buying things. That's why we don't like monopolies. But why should we want a monopoly on how people kind of live their lives, especially when a lot of it comes to how they spend their time at work? What you do is you give people the option to not work. It's competition. I would really think that these people who pride themselves on loving capitalism, loving themselves some voluntary trade, there's nothing wrong with voluntary trade. They chose the woke. I think it would be great. It would be a great idea for them to actually have some competition, because it's not really competition when it's work here or die. That's not great competition. Lots of people really don't want to die. But if it's work here or you'll be okay, lots of people go, I think I'd rather just be okay. I think I'll be okay, you know, not doing that. And so originally it was really big. Okay. Companies, they were scratching their head. Bosses were like out of their mind. They were going to the drawing board. They were doing the freaking math equations that spanned like an entire fucking lecture hall, a chalkboard, trying to figure out how they can get workers back in and working. They came to an incredible solution. This is their E = MC squared. Pay people more. And you found it out to be really interesting, just out of nowhere. All of these businesses, after especially like lots of conservatives were crying about how these businesses, they can't afford paying people more. Out of nowhere, they're just like, hey, here's like $10 more an hour. Here's $5 more an hour, $10 more an hour, $15 more an hour. Here, we're going to start paying you like $25 an hour to work in a pizza joint. Huh? Oh my gosh, where did that come from? Where are they keeping all that money? We've been told all this time that money doesn't exist, and apparently, oh my gosh, just out of nowhere, here it is. It's wild. It's almost like they had that money the entire time. They just had no incentive to give it to people, because businesses, at the end of the day, their job isn't to make you happy. Their job isn't to like be nice or treat you well. Their job is to sell, and their job is to make money for their shareholders. That's their legal job. That's what they do. That's all. Big corporations, that's all they care about. That's it. Everything else is tangential. If they could do anything else and get away with still making the most amount of money for their shareholders, they'll absolutely do it. because that's their only job, to make money for their shareholders. Or for other people, their only obligation is to their pocketbook at the end of the day, without like the government or society stepping in some way and stopping them. Typically, that's just how the system works, and that's okay. All right, for those people. I mean, we all have interests. It's just when our interests don't align, this starts to become like a really big problem for us, right? Starts to become a really big problem. So we want to even out those interests. So typically, it's a great idea to give people money. So now it's like, hey, you know, if you don't have to work to not starve, which is great. I think that's amazing, because now people actually have options. Now businesses are going to have to pay more. They're going to have to do things more to get their workers to want to come in every day, if they have the option to. But the thing is, they're actually starting to come to a problem. There's a problem a brewing on the horizon. What is it? They started paying people more, but there's a problem. People still aren't coming back to work. Lots of people not only are not coming back to work, not only that, they're facing a new problem. Lots of people are quitting their jobs. Wild. But they're paying more. I don't know. Like, for me, I actually enjoyed a lot of the time that I spent at my job. I did. Well, enjoy in as much as you can working at a fast food restaurant. I tolerated it a lot of the time. I really enjoyed a lot of the people that I worked with. That's what I enjoyed more than anything else. Really good people. But how I was treated there wasn't the best. We were given hazard pay that was supposed to, you know, pay for us being frontline workers. Okay, we're the first to run in. We're like the firefighters to run into the Twin Towers, basically, by making burgers for people. And they're disgusting asses, not putting on masks, not washing their hands, not giving a shit, sneezing. Even some conservatives were talking about how they really like going to fast food restaurants now and like sneezing into their hand and like sneezing into their card, or like coughing into their money before they hand it to like the people in the window, which actually I think should land you in jail. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I think that should put you in jail. If we ever implement like a Chinese sort of like social credit score, those people should like just instantly be thrown into the fucking hole. All right. They cannot, these people belong in like a penitentiary, because they cannot exist with other normal human beings without destroying society. Yeah, what the hell? That's just, it's disgusting. Actually, it is bio warfare. They're like, I love it when those stupid liberals get all freaked out when I hock a loogie into my $5 bill before I try and pay for a taco. It makes me so happy. One indoctrinated sheep. Like, oh my gosh, you're just disgusting. Even outside of a pandemic, that you're just a disgusting freaking troglodyte, right? Straight to the douchebag gulag. Straight to the gulag, dude. With all this streamer money, I need to take a flight to freaking Russia and be like, Lenin, wake up, man. We need you, dude. Wake up. Just get up, dude. Man, honestly, I'm no USSR fan, but I don't know, man. We kind of need you right now. And it's it. And a lot of people just kind of get away with it because lots of times the businesses just, they don't care that much. They don't care that much to like track this person down or like bar them from going in again. They just have to deal with stuff like that. The workers just have to deal with stuff like that. It's disgusting and they're tired of it. So no, it isn't just money that gets people back to work. They realize it's more than money. That's actually the real problem for people, not only wanting to get back to work, but wanting to stay at work. And this has been called the Great Resignation. And there's been many articles that's been written about it. We can just go through this one right now. A local cafe pop-up has a new sign. Help wanted, it reads. Wages up to $20, earn up to $1,000 in bonuses. $20 an hour seems like a lot to pay a cashier and sandwich makers, especially since the minimum wage in Virginia is $9.50. This is still like comically low, but like $9.50 at least is better than my state, which is a state away, Kentucky, that's still like $7.25. Incredible stuff. But clearly it's not. Within 2 miles of the cafe, I saw at least 6 other help wanted signs in the windows of restaurants and retailers. But clearly money isn't working. Our fast food restaurants are short staffed and haven't opened the dining room the past 2 months. Yep. Just like the store that I worked at, short staffed all of the time. Oh my gosh, I'd have to work 2 people's jobs, 3 people's jobs, taking orders, running out orders, doing the window, putting the food together, doing the fries, doing front counter. All this, one person doing all of this. It's happened before. And honestly, it's not super surprising having like other people come out, having you have to call people in, call, hello, can you come in? Hello, can you come in? Please, can you come in? We have no people here. It happens all the time. And it's awful. I had to do like three people's jobs and not get any extra pay. Honestly, the managers I had, they're pretty cool. But the nicest thing that they could do for me at like the manager level was like, hey dog, you can take home like a free sandwich today for all the hard work that you did. And that's it. That's it. I mean, I appreciate they're doing what they can. Like our managers are stressed out too. All right. They're still workers too. It just sucks. It's so bad. It's so bad. Obviously you wouldn't want to go back to that. Why would you want to go back to that? So that's even wanting to keep people away because you join, you're the only dude who joins. And all of a sudden they're like, hey bud, I know you just joined. Do three people's jobs. Have fun, buddy. We don't have anybody coming in from 2 to 5. So this next 3 hours, that's all you, chief. See you later. It sucks. And I realized I didn't finish the story. We got hazard pay a couple months after the pandemic started. It was an extra $2, which is cool. That's great. I mean, thanks for the extra $2 an hour. Bumped up the paycheck. That hazard pay ended almost a year ago from now. And if you didn't know, we're still sitting firmly in a pandemic. So while prices have been going up, while people have started to get back to buying things, there's been a bump in pay. They took that hazard pay away. I'm still in the hazard. Like I live with my parents at the moment. My parents have pre-existing conditions. Every single day at work, I'm in contact with about 800 people sometimes. If you work 6, 8, 10-hour shifts, some managers and some crew members work 10-hour shifts. You're in contact with maybe even upwards of 1,000 people a day at the store that I was at. 1,000 people a day. What do you think the likelihood that at least one of them had COVID? I was carrying it. Pretty decent amount. If you ask me, pretty decent amount. I think I was still in hazard. If I'm going to ask you, I think it was still in hazard. Yeah. I worked 12-hour shifts at Walmart before. It sucks. Yeah, it's actually really bad. It's actually it sucks a lot actually. It takes a lot more than money to get people to do a job like that. 90% of retailers are struggling to fill up positions. Man, I wonder why. When it comes to these things, people don't necessarily leave companies. We've all seen the Gallup research that shows that people leave bosses, not companies. Money matters, but only to a certain degree. Perks matter, but only to a certain degree. Once pay benefits are fair, not industry leading, just appropriate and reasonable, how do you treat people makes a huge difference. That's something that Mark Cuban warned employers about last year. How companies respond to that very question is going to define their brands for decades. After spending a year and a half almost giving my parents like a disease that could kill them because of the people that I'm in contact with on a daily basis because of your work environment. Yeah, I don't think that's great. Yeah, hazard pay was covered by them selling one drink. It was, yes. Every time I handed out a drink, my hazard pay was just out of bed, paid for. Paid for right there, buddy. Yep. Gallup research over the years has concluded that 50% of employees leave their jobs to get away from their manager or to improve their overall life at some point in their career. They're get away from their manager or improve their life in some point. 50% want to just improve their life. 50. That's incredible to me. Half. That's the main reason. And then the other half, it's a split between like some other things. A lot of that is pay. It tells you a lot about how people feel about the jobs that they're in right now. For one, their managers are just awful. They have so much control over how they work. Like a manager can kind of like ruin your job. I know a lot of you guys have probably had managers that just kind of ruin your workplace. Do they not? Like they do something that's awful, or they go to like power hungry, or they punish people who do stuff that they shouldn't be punished for. Like managers just have crazy amounts of power over a lot of like crew and just regular workers. And lots of people want to escape that. Those people were not put in that position because of that worker, yet they have all of that power over that worker and they can ruin their lives. Not even just their work experience, their lives. Yeah, or they don't punish people who need to be punished. They can pick favorites as well, or they're racist, or they're sexist, or they're ugly. Being ugly is a really big one. I knew a guy who didn't know how to run the place, like the old guy. Yep. And then they change and they have no clue how to run the place and everything just kind of falls apart. They don't know how, or they don't want to work with the team. It's pretty common. Or that work has gotten so bad that they don't have a good work-life balance and they've completely lost control of their life. I remember there's points in my life where I will just be around and my mom would be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, Mom?" And she's like, "You haven't eaten today." And you haven't like washed clothes and you're not taking care of yourself. And I noticed, and she brought that to me, and I noticed, I'm like, man, I'm just stressed. I'm just stressed from work. Like I'll take like 2 days and I didn't even notice that I haven't eaten, because like some days at work would just be so bad. I think I still have some days at work that still follow me when we had, oh my gosh, we were wrapped around the building and when we had 2 people working, me and my manager, and that's it. 2 people working in a fast food restaurant. Two people. I still think about that day sometimes. If people are happier, they're more likely to, take care of their people. They're more likely to do good work, take pride in their work, enjoy coming into work, not call in as much. That's great. These are great things. They don't care as much because a lot of the times they want to stick with the status quo. And I think a lot of people really think that businesses and bosses are these sorts of like machines that always do what's optimal. They absolutely don't. Any of you guys have been a crew member under like a big boss, general manager, or a manager knows that they absolutely do not do that. They absolutely don't. They're just as irrational as like anybody else doing whatever dumb shit that they could possibly be doing. They just face some repercussions for it. Sometimes they do. It's ridiculous. They are not nowhere near as rational. If they were, businesses wouldn't be going out of business as much as they do. Okay? Nowhere near as much. But it happens still. And this can be fixed with a lot of things. Now me, the socialist here, we'd love to get rid of bosses. We'd love to get rid of unelected managers. We'd love to have things like a worker co-op or a community run business or company where the workers own the means of production, and it sounds like a weird word or weird term of phrase, but basically what that just means is that the workers run the workplace. You guys do it. And a lot of people shit on workers, think that they don't know how to do shit. Lots of the workers, they are the stakeholders. My bad, not the stakeholders. Sorry. What's it called? Oh, my bad. It is stakeholder. Sorry. There's shareholder and stakeholder. So the shareholders are the people that own the business. They're the people who buy it. The stakeholders are usually the workers. They're the ones who get hurt if something really bad happens. Sure, the shareholders, they can get, they can lose some money. Business bounce around. Your employment doesn't really bounce around. It's kind of on or it's off. You're either working or you're laid off. Okay. For lots of those people, they face a lot of things. A lot of those people in managerial positions, in bossing positions, they weren't born like that. Okay. They're not like Pride from Full Metal. They weren't like born and raised to be your fucking boss. Okay. Lots of those people were crew members one day. They were cashiers at one point. They were just regular workers. They were managers. They were directors at one point. They weren't like the boss at one point. That can be out of anybody generally. And that person can be appointed there typically. And a lot of the times that person may not be the best at what they do. And that's why businesses go under. They don't go under for magic reasons. They go under for big reasons. And so that's what we want, giving those people that autonomy, giving you the option to be able to take control over your workplace, to have that autonomy, to not have to escape your manager, fix your life, because you can finally orient your life. You as a collective group with your fellow coworkers can start to orient your lives to being correspondent with your work. I think that's an amazing thing that can happen. And so many people have been able to gain so much autonomy, so much like free will off of that. And people say shit like, oh, they'll just run into the ground. Why do they want to run into the ground? They'd lose their job. I mean, sure, they can fail sometimes, I guess, but bosses fail, managers fail, workers can fail. Everybody can fail here. The only thing is we gain more things while still having that in our hands. And the thing is, now if this fails, now it's not going to be someone else's fault or something that we couldn't touch or control. If this fails, this is our fault. It's in our hands that we can fix it. If a problem is your fault, that means you have the options to fix it. If it's not, then you don't. And businesses fail sometimes. That's what happens in a market economy. But we talked about all these great things. There are people who want to see you suffer. Okay? There are people who do not want you to be happy. There are people who want you to suffer. There are people who want you to starve. A really big conservative retort to a lot of these workers leaving their jobs, to a lot of workers not coming back to work, to a lot of workers deciding to stay on unemployment instead of going back to their hell site workplace, has been not, oh, there's a problem here. Let's try to fix what's keeping these people from going to work. It's, we have to make sure that these people starve. It's an incredibly inhuman response to people telling you that they're sad and suffering. It's let's make them suffer more. But that's the conservative frame of mind. That's the only thing that they think of. They want more pain, more suffering. Oh, if you think this hurts, we'll just make your existence in life hurt even more to force you to get back to work, to force you to make green line go up. That's all they care about you for. And don't let me say it. Let Fox News say it.
I'm not an economic professor. If you get $800 a week unemployment benefits, and you live with a partner who also is getting $800 a week unemployment benefits, $1,600 a week, Laura, $83,000 a year for that household in unemployment benefits. The median income in America is only $63,000. We're incentivizing people to stay home. What if we gave that additional unemployment benefits to employers to incentivize people to go to work?
Well, what if we just cut off the unemployment? I mean, hunger is a pretty powerful thing. I don't mean physical hunger, because people who truly are in need help.
I'm not an economic professor. Yeah, then stop talking. For one, ghouls, demons walking amongst this earth, absolute ghouls. The other definition of hunger. What other definition of hunger? She's not, oh, I'm not talking about like real hunger, like you're hungry. I just mean the hunger that you feel for the thing that you use to buy food so you're not physically hungry. You mean money? So you still starve? How can you be this heartless? Oh, damn, I didn't know we had Kanye West in chat. Damn, what's up, girl? But no, like, because they don't care. Like, they only care about money. That's it. The mask, it's gone. They threw it to the wind like a graduation cap, man. They couldn't care less. Also, I'm just sorry, okay? I would never trust a man who looks like this. You see this? Look at this guy. Look at this man. Look at his face. Look at his face, dude. This is a demon. Look, I would never trust a human being like this. You never get your economic advice from someone like this, okay? He's either trying to steal your kidney, roofie your drink, or steal your money, all right? There's literally no in between with those three things. All right, it's Venn diagram with the three circles, and he's in the center. He's on all three. He's a ghoul, dude. He's awful.
Hunger is a pretty powerful thing. I don't mean physical hunger, because people who truly are in need help. I'm talking about people who can work but refuse to work. But the government is literally putting anvils in many ways on people's shoulders, either through the mandates, regulations, and now through free money, which obviously the piper eventually has to be paid. John, I want to ask you.
Here's the thing. No, it doesn't. We make our own money. That's not how that works. We make money. All the money that you see was been made. The money is not gifted from Athena, the goddess of wisdom, like manna from heaven, and there's only a finite amount of it. That's not how money works. We make money. Money machine literally goes burr. Donald Trump pulled like a couple $1 trillion out of Lady Liberty's pussy, and he doesn't have to put it back. It's okay. We just take the money. We make the money. We give the money. We don't have to take it back like that. That's not how our economy works. It's fine. It's okay. That's why we pass trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of bills, and everything's like pretty okay. Even economists didn't predict that we would be as okay as we are, but we're perfectly fine. That's not how this works. The piper does not have to be paid. It's a false economy. They're trying to lie to you right now to think that you not starving and not living a life of suffering and pain in a place where you don't want to work is apparently bad for you.
Though about this
don't get cucked
idea of work-life balance, because look, no one wants to miss their kids growing up. No one wants to. You stay in the office your whole life. You never see your family. So that's really important. However, living a life of just working, and you wake up and you work, and you go to bed and you work, and you never see your kids, and life passes you by, and your life is basically over, and you think about all the things that you could have done, but you spent it just working, and that's bad, I guess. However, my stock portfolio doesn't look too good right now. Yeah, get back in there, boy. Yeah, work for it. Yeah, get back in there. Just what are you doing? There's no however. Cut the however. Cut it. Cut the however. There's no however here. All right. There's no however. Stop. Have we taken that a step too far when you think of, well, a lot of the millennials talking about, I need time for self-care. I don't know why I'm harping on that tonight, but the whole self-care movement
is a little, I mean, my mother is not with us anymore, but she worked by the time she was 12 during the Depression. If she heard the self-care thing, I think her head would explode.
She's cucked. Your mom had been cucked. All right. You are the child of a cucking adventure. That's cucked. That's not good. That's bad. What is this cringe ass grind set? This is ridiculous. What? Your self-care is bad? Self-care is your head explodes because you're taking care of yourself as a human being? That's awful. Do you not want to take care of yourself? Your mom would have been disgusted if she was saying, yeah, like your mom, like, actually, I'm not making that joke. Anyways, that's not a great thing. My mother lost her arm in a 1904 factory. Fuck self-care. Yeah, my grandma lost both of her arms in a sewing machine accident. You know what she did? She didn't take a second for self-care. She started sewing and stitching with her teeth and her toenails. Like, excuse me? Like, that's not a good thing. The only reason they did that is because, for one, they were cucked into believing that's like a virtue to suffer and slave away willingly, ruin your life willingly for someone who couldn't care less about you. If you died today, they'll hire someone in your place to fill that spot tomorrow, and they wouldn't think about it, because what they do think about, the only thing they think about, is their wallet, is their paycheck, is their stock portfolio. That's what they matter. You are completely interchangeable, and you could die at any moment, and they couldn't give a shit less. That maybe your coworker sitting next to you would care, they wouldn't. That's how that works. Don't believe that for any second. They view you as only a transaction, as only a number. So yeah, no, that sucks. Or so they did that, or they only did that because they were living in like a tenement, and if they didn't work for 15 hours that day, then you all would starve or be on the street. That's not a great thing. Ease demon, literal ghoul, actual ghoul demon.
I think that's right. I have a friend in the military who trains military dogs, Laura, and they only feed a military dog at night because a hungry dog is an obedient dog. Well, if we're not causing people to be hungry to work, then we're providing them with all the meals they need sitting at home.
Mask off. Listen. You want to make us hungry so bad, all right? They want to make us hungry so bad. All I'm saying is that if we get hungry enough, listen, when the people don't have anything to eat, they'll have to find something else to eat, all right? That's it. I mean, sometimes you just get sometimes you get a little too hungry, you know? An obedient dog. And that's how they're comparing workers now. An obedient dog. That's what you are. This guy. I want you to remember this face, okay? I want you to remember this face. Because this guy, there's no difference between this man and the man who runs the business that you work at. The rich? I didn't say that. I said they'd have to eat something else. You don't know what that could be. That could be a Hubba Bubba roll, for all you know. I just said they'd have to eat something else. Anyways. Wait, I didn't know that this guy was sitting. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't know this. Wait, look at his alcohol collection. Wait a second, what's happening right now? This guy looks like this shifty NPC character in like a BioShock game. What the fuck what's happening right now? Look at his alcohol collection. Oh my God, I guess it finally makes sense, because you gotta be drunk to be making points like this, man. He's gotta be out of his mind, I knew it. What's happening right now? He wants to force you to go back to work. He doesn't care if you give your sick mom COVID and she dies. He couldn't care less if you live paycheck to paycheck. He's got everything that he needs taken care of. This is the same mantra. This is the same mentality that anybody who's running your workplace goes by. This is it. They may not say it. They may buy you pizza. They may say that you're a valuable worker. They may give you like nice brownie points. They could give you $2 hazard pay. There's nothing in between this guy and the guy running your job. At the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road, you're not the one who's going to be taken care of. It's them. And he wants to treat you like an obedient dog. And so if you're not, that means you have to start starving. That's what he wants, you to starve. And that's why people like this need to be kept away from power as much as humanly possible, because they do not care for any human suffering. They don't care for any misery they cause, anything. Any death they cause, destruction of society. All they care about is their money. And so instead of talking about how do we make people's lives better, how do we get people to be happier at work, he's like, how do we get people to suffer? Sure, their jobs suck, I guess,
But I don't want to fix that. I want to fix how much money I make. And so if you think that hurts, just wait until what I'm going to do to you. That's the first thing that comes into his head. He's a ghoul, menace to society. It's disgusting. And more people than you would imagine run like this. This is what we're up against. This man is the enemy. And there's a little piece of him in a lot of people who run businesses like that. You can see it in how they treated their workers during COVID. It wasn't good.